Genesis is Hyundai's luxury diffusion line, a well-known quantity in its home market and the US, now tilting at the establishment in the UK and Europe. Many have tried and indeed are still trying, but Hyundai's top brass see it as a matter of honor to lock swords with the big players. And they want to do it by being different. Differentiation joins experiential as one of 2021's key luxury buzzwords. Last year, Genesis shifted 130,000 cars globally, so the ambition is certainly not being thwarted. It's also possible this could be a car review in which we don't actually review the car at all. Seriously, it's moot how much the actual drive matters in the grand scheme of things. A large saloon and SUV are the traditional pathways to showroom glory, and it's with examples of each that Genesis is opening its account. Key here is the fact that the company disavows the conventional retail model and is prioritizing customer service above shiny-suited commission-incentivized salesperson patter. So there are no showrooms. Instead, Genesis plies its trade via a little-known tool called the Internet and Retail Studios. One has just opened in London's Westfield shopping centre, with another to follow in a dramatic new central London location next year. Genesis also allocates customers an individual personal assistant, most of whom have been recruited from non-car spheres. One is ex-Harrods. There's a mighty 5-year warranty, 5-year servicing, and 5-year roadside assistance package, and the car is collected and returned on covered transport. South Korea's rep in the world of painless consumer durables is well established, but we've come a long way since. That'll be the Daewoo. The G80 really does do different, an imperious-looking saloon whose dropping rear roofline and cut-off tail suggest coupe-like grace in a sector populated by largely trad saloons. NB, it has a normal boot, which swallows 424 liters, so it's not huge. Or perhaps they suggest Audi A7 Sportback. There's the usual stuff about being able to render the car's silhouette with just 2 lines, although to be fair to the creatives here, the G80's 2-line game actually is strong. It's there in the headlights, the details aft of the front wheel arches, and in the rear lights. The Matrix grille is the usual punchy Asia-Pacific fare, although better executed than many. And it's big, measuring 5 mm shy of 5 in length, closer to an S-Class than the E with which it competes, and arguably generating more presence than the Audi A6, BMW 5 Series, Jaguar XF and the near-invisible Lexus ES. We'd dechrome it, though. Prices start at £37,460, so the G80 adheres to the age-old lot of metal for the money mantra. But it does also have quite an extensive options list. You've probably heard about Genesis by this point. It's not the thing in the Bible, and it's not Phil Collins, it's Hyundai's posh brand. It's actually been around since 2015, peddling poshed-up Korean cars around the world. But not in Europe, until now. Same old then? To be fair, the brand is trying hard to do things a little bit differently. There are no dealerships, just shopping center outlets where you can have a nose round some of the company's output on the way to get your new shoes, but when your service is due, Genesis will send someone round to pick the car up for you, if you live in what it deems the correct part of the UK. So that's nice of them. The company is also offering a subscription service for its cars, where presumably you get one a month until you're sick of them and cancel the direct debit. What about the cars? The cars have been a bit of a disappointment so far, though, it must be said. We've got the G70 and G80 saloons, and the GV70 and GV80 SUVs, all of which are a few years old and a bit same why. No one's going to crack the almost unbreakable hold the Germans have on the premium market with that kind of attitude. There must be something exciting coming. Fortunately, there are some exciting cars on the way, starting with this one, the G70 shooting brake. The G70 itself has just had a facelift, so it's been freshened up, but it's not brand spanking new. This estate version of the car is bespoke for Europe, though, so that's a bit exciting. The G70 is a BMW 3 Series/Audi A4/Mercedes C-Class/Alfa Giulia rival, so it's being fired out of a cannon straight into a rather closely fought battle. None of those offerings looks quite like this, though, so there's a strike in the G70 shooting brake's favor when it comes to standing out in the golf club car park. Or more likely the train station car park. Does it drive like a Hyundai? Unsurprisingly, yes, it does a bit. It doesn't handle with the alacrity of a classically European car, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. At some point along the line we've all got tangled up with the notion that a premium car has to be sporty, which our backs kindly ask that we have another think about. The received wisdom would dictate that Genesis has to slavishly copy the German model to succeed, but we hope that it can carve out a niche for itself. The main problem with the G70, and not just the shooting brake, is that the engine options are horrendously outdated. You get the choice of a 2.2-liter diesel or a 2.0-liter turbo petrol in 2 states of tune, all of which are quite thirsty. Not even a sniff of a plug-in hybrid or electric version at the moment, which seems like a missed opportunity. Would anyone have missed Genesis in Europe for a few more years while it assembled an all-electric lineup? Genesis has made a pretty good stab at a fancy interior here. There are some rough patches, but the look reminds you of Bentley, which can't be a bad thing. There's loads of fancy tech to try and win you over to the cause, and while the dashboard